What's up, besties? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to my LEGO live stream building the LEGO Stinger Mantis from Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. We're getting pretty far into this build. As you can see, last week we've built the majority of the part of the ship that you actually get to be in the games, and we're going to finish that up today and get started on the roof. So far, we've got the nice little lounge area, we've got the holo table, and we've got the beginning of the cockpit. We're going to finish up the terrarium. We're going to finish the galley or the kitchen, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, then we're going to start on the roof. I'm really excited to get into this because we're getting so close to the end, but it's also a little sad at the same time. But I hope everybody's having a great week so far. So far, my week has been fine. That's the best way to put it. It's Tuesday. I'm excited to get into this LEGO and to hang out with y'all. I already put a poll up, which I'm very curious to know how people are feeling. There was a little teaser released during the Super Bowl this past Sunday for The Mandalorian and Grogu, a little TV spot. I feel like that's a better way to put it. It wasn't really a teaser, but a TV spot. And it's got me feeling kind of the same way I felt before. I'm not like dying to see this movie. It's a Star Wars movie, so I'm gonna see it, but am I dying to see it? Not really. You'll have to excuse my coughing. The weather here has been crazy. We've been in like the 20s, the high 20s, the past like 2-3 weeks at this point. The high today was I think 50, so my allergies are all over the place, but you know, we're still here to get into this LEGO. So I'm going to put this over a little bit to the side, get my drink out of the main view, and we're going to start on the terrarium. Now the terrarium, I really like the way it was designed. It's very realistic to the game. However, it's a pain in the ass to put together, which you'll see. So let's get these pieces out and get started, because I got a lot I want to try to get to today. After this, like I said, we're going to be starting on the roof of the ship. And then after the roof, there's like one other small part that we do, and then the ship's done. But I never can tell how fast I'm going to get through a stream. Also, hi Brian. You came into the chat early. Good to see you. Hope all is well where you are. You can see all these colorful pieces here. These are going to be our plants. So now we've got some dirt. And I actually, I did the build a little bit different because I didn't love the way that the plants looked. So I took a picture on my phone. Let me try to find that really quick. Of course, out of all the things I had ready to go, this was not one of them. There we go. Okay. So we've got this purple one here. And this is the hard part about it. You put them in the middle of the studs. And so they're very tiny and you have to be very specific. So I'm going to do my best. It was definitely harder to do them when they were tiny, small pieces, doing them one by one. So when I took it apart, I said, you know what, this is my build. I'm going to keep them all together, because you see these little tiny flower pieces and they go so close together, like, you see? So hopefully this will be a little bit easier this way. I tried to think specifically to the game too of each of the planets. I don't remember off the top of my head what plants go where, but I specifically wanted to make sure I had a lot of green in the section that would be the Kashyyyk planets. I wanted to have some kind of weirder stuff that goes for the Dathomir side. So it was important that I had red. There's not really any kind of tree-looking plants that came with this set, so it was important to me to have something that had some height to it. And of course there's one I can't see in my photo, but I think it's this one. As you can see, this one, there we go. See, it's kind of funky looking. We had to have something a little bit different, you know what I mean? This is the one that I was saying is like a tree. So that's one of our, I'm calling that one of our Kashyyyk plants. And then we're going to have these two little weird red and pink ones that are going to represent our plants from Dathomir. Oop, here I go dropping stuff already. So I think what I'll do is I'll put the Dathomir ones in first. I feel like the two hardest things when it comes to Lego is stuff like this, placing these tiny, tiny little studs, and stickers. Those are the hardest parts of Lego for me, I think. Alright, there's one of our Dathomir plants. Got one more. And then let's put our tree piece back in there. Perfect. How cute is that? And you see we've got all these different types of looking plants that are going to look great in our little terrarium. Yeah, like I said, they had us going one at a time. That, let me tell you, it was a pain when I was putting this together to try to make sure I had all the pieces for it. Now, if you look in here, you can see how we've got some kind of slanted pieces. Obviously, that's why we've got the bottom of this slanted, so it'll fit nicely in there. Let's hope I can get it in there without any issues. And without losing any of our plants. Okay, I think we're secure. So there's our terrarium. I think it's secure. I hope it's secure. All right, so now that we've got that on there, of course we know there's a piece that goes on top of the terrarium. That's kind of is where the lighting comes from, I think it is. So we're gonna put that piece on here. And this is where this build really starts to get more intricate. Like there's just a lot of little details that start to go on at this point. All right, there we go. Hey, Crystal. I know what your answer is going to be for this poll. Let's see. Let's see what our poll's at. Yes, I'm excited, and no, not really. Something tells me you are the no. I almost said the no, not really. That you're the yes, I'm excited. And I love that for you. What did you think of the little teaser that they did at the Super Bowl? You didn't watch it. You didn't miss much. All right, there is our terrarium. I did watch, I keep calling it a teaser. It was like a little TV spot. I did watch it. I was like, okay. Lots of people were speculating that we were going to get a trailer, like another trailer that would kind of tell us what the movie was about. So I went into it kind of expecting that, and that's definitely not anything that we got. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Y'all aren't doing anything to make me any more excited for this movie at all. Because I'm not really excited about it. But is that a surprise? Yeah, I saw it all over Twitter. People just being like, all the pages that are like, oh, there's going to be a Mando trailer, leaked information about the Mandalorian and Grogu, trailer incoming. Joke's on y'all. We have gotten Star Wars trailers in football things before, so it's not completely out of the ordinary, but I don't really know what the plan is for the marketing of this movie. As someone who's excited for the movie, how do you feel about how it's being marketed so far? I mean, I know you're excited regardless because you love Grogu, but like, just how do you feel about the marketing of this movie thus far? Oh, yeah, what marketing exactly? That kind of seems to be the general consensus. And then right now, I am building what's going to be our little hallway into the back of the ship. It's also going to utilize pieces that will go towards our galley, which we'll get to in just a moment. I'm interested to see when we will get another trailer, because I can't imagine we're not going to get another trailer for the movie. You know what I mean? But like, are they going to put it out like May 4th? Because if so, that's a little insane in my opinion. Okay, I don't know what is going. Oh, am I doing this right? Okay, that's there. Let's see if I can get this back on. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our hallway to the back of the ship. Doesn't it look a lot nicer when it's actually like in here? Because that was not easy trying to get it in place. All right, so there's that. this is going to be our little kind of counter with our refrigerator and cooking supplies, because we all know Grease loves to cook. It's the one thing that I feel like outside of a pilot he does very well. We all know he is famous for Skaz steaks. See, we've got the making of a counter here. Then we're going to have these little studs, which will be used for something. Cookware, maybe. And it's just so creative using all these little pieces and the way they're utilized. Oh, you know what? This piece does not go here. This goes here. See, this is looking kitchen-like, right? How's your week been, Crystal? I saw your short that you posted. It's a short, right? I think it's longer than a minute, but the C-3PO makeup look that you did. I watched it shortly before getting in the shower, before this stream. And I assume when you had posted the other day about trying out something that you hadn't done before content-wise, that was what you were referring to? This is going to go like this. Hold on, which one actually connects? I think it's this one. I think that's how we go. All right, there's our little galley kitchen accessories. And like, see, this is really looking like the Mantis now. If you didn't think it did before, like, this is very much the Mantis. You've got one little section to finish up, and then we're going to get started on the cockpit. There's that. Just some more kitchen-y supply things. I feel like I have to keep showing y'all because it's so small. Nice, right? Oh, I lied. We've got to add in a few last things here in the ship, and then we'll get to the cockpit. We've got to have our little coffee table. Or calf table, maybe that's what they call it in Star Wars. Hey Andrew, how are you? Has the snow finally cleared away where you're at? Okay, there's that. And then we can't forget we've got to have our little... Grease has so many plants all over the ship. And it's such a bummer that Cal did not take care of the plants when the Mantis went into his possession. That was one of the things I was bummed about when we got into Jedi Survivor, and then we see that, you know, Cal's taken over the Mantis and the terrarium's gone. He's just got a bunch of little mementos on there. I was like, really, Cal? This is what you did to this beautiful terrarium? Here's another one of our little plants that we're going to put in there. This one's the one that goes next to the steps. All right, there's that. Bam! The interior of the Mantis is done. We've got the galley, we've got the terrarium, we've got the hollow table. And then before we continue, there is a handy little lightsaber blade clip here. So I'm going to put that there. You know how like all the Lego ships now that they make have little clips on the bottom for the lightsabers? That's exactly what that is. Oh wow, it was over 60 degrees today, Andrew. That is insane. I think the high where I'm at today was around 50. But I'm like, what is this crazy weather? Like, my allergies cannot take it. I'm sure it's in this consistent 70s over where you are, Crystal, if not hotter. Alright, we're going to make 2 of these, so I'm going to go ahead and just get both of them out so I can do them at the same time. And these are going to be our doors. It was cold today? What was the temperature? Because I'm sure it doesn't compare to the 20-some degrees that it's been where I'm at the past 2 weeks. Oh, wow, 64. Yeah, that's definitely colder than what you'd been talking about the past few streams. And 64 with no humidity, that is chilly, in my opinion. I also hate the cold. I am very much ready for the warm weather. Like, my fashion style does not benefit from cold weather. Yes, I can layer, but I'm definitely more of a summer fashion person. And not even necessarily summer, just like warm, not cold. I like fall too. Fall fashion, great. But winter fashion for me is layers and warmth. That's about it. Oh, we've got a cautiously optimistic vote about if someone's excited for The Mandalorian and Grogu. Something tells me that's Andrew by process of elimination. Like, I'm gonna go see the movie, but am I dying to go see it? Is it my most excited, most anticipated Star Wars project right now? No. And part of me feels like it's the marketing's fault, which we've kind of touched on already. Like, I've seen nothing so far to make me excited about this movie. I'm trying to think, because there was the trailer that was at Celebration Japan, which I did do a breakdown on. We have Rod of the Hutt. We have Rod of the Hutt, played by Jeremy Allen White for some reason. We have Swimming Grogu. Actually, that trailer was released publicly now that I think of it. Swimming Grogu and Zellens. I think they're doing like we've got Zeb in action, which that's exciting. Because, you know, we love Zeb. So I guess if anything, I'm most excited for Zeb. Like, honestly, that's what I'm most excited for. Give me Zeb. There we go. See, there's one of our doors, and you see as they fold out, they have this piece that folds down, so that way you've got this cool extended ramp. And then there's obviously one on the other side. They just clip in right here. and they fit so nicely. Andrew said, I voted cautiously optimistic because I wanted to be nice. I honestly haven't even thought about the movie, but I'll see it eventually, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll probably see it the weekend it comes out, but like, it's just whatever for me. All right, let's get started on this cockpit. Emphasis on cock. Just kidding, mostly. There's a lot of pretty pieces in here. We got some blues, yellows, reds, a lot of clear pieces. I'm looking for a clear piece. These clear pieces are so hard to find sometimes, I feel. Here it is. Now, I mentioned a few streams ago that this cockpit is very oddly put together, and I'll kind of explain it as I go through it. Because as I'm sure you all know, the Mantis cockpit, the actual windshield of it, it comes out and it's slanted up this way. So it's kind of funky and it's all glass. So trying to achieve this in Lego, I cannot even imagine trying to come up with on my own. But that's why we have this lovely design by 2Bricks. And they use this really creative building where they use these hinged pieces to create different shapes in different directions. Am I doing this the wrong way already? Yep. Now these side pieces of the windshield are a little bizarre for the simple fact that we don't have glass to put in them. And they're this weird kind of funky shaped piece, which you'll see as we get it together, but it's going to start like this. And then slant up and then go back over. No worries, Crystal. You don't have to apologize. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out. I'll see you later. Have a good night. Ooh, Korean fried chicken for dinner. That sounds amazing. Alright, so there's that piece. You see we're starting to get that kind of angular shape now? Okay. As per usual, I can't find the next piece that I need. It can't be this. Oh, here we go. All right, there's that. All right, we're going to shift to the inside. And we're going to take another one of these hinged pieces. And check this out. I'm going to put it there. And then we're going to connect it to this one. So it creates that angled look that we're going for. We're going to have this nice yellow piece here. I assume that's like a light. We're going to put this piece together with this clear piece. So that way that stays where it needs to. And then we're going to put this nice blue piece here. So as you can see, here's where our nice pretty colors start to come in. All right, now we need this. And this. Like, look how bizarre this build is. It's really odd, but this is the beginning of our ship. Now to make it look nice, We're going to put these nice flat pieces on here to kind of smooth it out. And see, now it's starting to look a little bit more not realistic. I feel like realistic isn't the right word for it, but it's starting to look a little bit more structural. Maybe that's a better word for it. You weren't expecting an interior on this build. Well, let me tell you, Brian, that is the reason I specifically went with this build, because I wanted something with an interior. And just to give you a quick view, we've got the hollow table with the couches. We've got kind of the main area where you come into the ship with the couch there. And then we've got the galley in here with the terrarium. So there's lots of cool stuff with this build. Like I've mentioned, this build is by a designer named 2Bricks. I've got them linked in the description if you want to check out the build and check out their other mocks. But yeah, that was one of the main reasons why I went with this one specifically, because there's a ton of them out there. But in my opinion, this was the best looking one. Now this is where it starts to get funky. So we're going to start putting these windshield pieces in. And then we've got these little circular kind of tube pieces. That's where it gets a little odd, in my opinion. So this is the beginning of our windshield, and it's got to look, it's going to look like this, and then there's the slanted front. So there's one. This piece, and one more, this one. There's our nice little seam in between our glass. Alright, so we're going to set that there. We're going to grab this one. And y'all, don't laugh at me as I struggle to put this together. Okay, so this one... Okay, this is going to go... Did I do this backwards? No, I did not. However... Oh, so, okay. As you can see, there's a flat piece on here. So this isn't actually going to plug into the build. It's going to connect using this piece. So this part of the ship literally does not connect. Except for right there. So, there's our windshield. And now we're going to connect it onto the front of the ship. How, I don't know. Oh. It's going to hook on like that. See? Now we're getting somewhere. You see the vibe. It's coming together. Let's get that lined up in place. So yeah, we're getting there. Obviously, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, just reversed. I can't imagine trying to come up with how to do this on my own. And I know I've said that in all of these streams when it comes to like building your own Lego creation, but I'm like, I don't know how you come up with this. Like these building techniques. All right. This piece, this gray, is going to go into this cylindrical piece here. So that's how that's going to connect in. Kind of funky, right? But in the end, it'll all look nice. So there's that one. Very fragile. That's why this is going on the shelf. And it's not a, definitely not a play set. How's the weather where you're at, by the way, Brian? I know I was talking to Joey of Krypton to Alderaan. I think y'all live somewhat nearby each other, as nearby as we do online. And I know he was saying that they got some crazy snow up where he's at. There's that. You haven't seen the grass in 3 weeks? That is crazy. 3 weeks, no grass. What was the weather like today where you're at? I know Andrew and I were saying in both of our areas, I think they said it was 60 today. Where I'm at, the high was 50. And you know what? This is going to go here because I know that's how it's going to connect. Oh, this piece right here. It got up to 34 today. Wow. Yeah, I want to say the past few weeks where I'm at, it's been like especially at night, it's been in the 20s, which I feel like is record breaking. I don't ever remember being that cold in my area. But I keep joking that this is the environment fighting back against men. Not men, but like man. The environment fighting back against man who doesn't take care of it. Like, doesn't take care of the environment, doesn't care. And then supposedly the damn groundhog says we're getting 6 more weeks of winter. I'm over it. I'm so over the cold. It was in the negatives overnight last weekend. That is insane. Like, I already was barely leaving my house over the weekend. We actually did a birthday dinner for my best friend, and it was okay when I left the house and like went to the restaurant, but when we were leaving the restaurant, it was frigid. I was not a fan. Restaurant was great though. It was a Puerto Rican restaurant, and the food had so much flavor. I'm definitely going to go back there again. And they had some vegan stuff, which I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised. I got a dish called picadillo, and I think they made it with impossible meat. Obviously, they would do beef normally. And then I had beans and rice and plantains, and yeah, it was very good. Like I said, I'm definitely going to go back there. Yeah, it was delicious. My best friend got a vegan empanada, and just like with my actual dinner, the empanada had so much flavor. It was insane. And yeah, I've had flavorful food before, but this was just on a whole new level. You know what? I think I actually put this piece on backwards. Did I? No. All right, so this is where we've got to kind of finagle this around to make it work perfectly. I'm going to try to do it in the camera so y'all can see. Don't you love all the fingerprints? That just really, really makes the look. Though after Cal was done with this ship, that's probably how the windshield looked. Oh yeah, I did do that backwards. That makes sense why it doesn't line up nicely. Okay, we're going to fix that really quick. As you can see, these two studs are different. I'm just going to fix that up really quick, and then everything will line up together nicely. Okay, there we go. Now we have our windshield. And you see how it's actually in that shape of the actual windshield in the game? How cool is that? So we'll set that down. Like I said, we're almost done with the interior. I already see a piece that I'm missing. Great. Oh, here it is. So now we're just going to get this nice and attached. Hey, Em, how are you? Hopefully you are with power again. We were just talking about the crazy weather that's been going on. It's the joy of having a microphone in front of you, trying to see everything that you're doing. And we're going to put these pieces on here, which is just going to help keep the roof on the ship. And that way it can be taken on and off. So if you did want to play with it, you could. Oh gosh, yeah, I remember you saying there was your bathroom ceiling collapsed. Hopefully that will be taken care of soon so y'all can start using that bathroom again. I'm currently down one bathroom in my house. Thankfully it's just me, but it seems like it's taking forever to try to get that taken care of. Oh, Crystal's seen photos of the devastation. Yeah, I'll have to ask her about it. But I'm glad everyone is okay. That's the biggest thing. I'm glad that y'all are okay and nobody was hurt. This is actually going to be the control panel. So we're going to have this here, which is going to be what, where Cal sits and BD1 presses on these controls. And then this is going to be how the ship is piloted. So we're going to have, so y'all can actually see. Oh, it's fixed as of today? Hell yeah. Alright, now I have to attempt to get this into the ship, which it is going to clip in. You can see the, if I bring it up closer, these clips here, that's where this is going to go into. So I'm going to try to nicely do this really quick without fucking up the ship. Let's get that as close to the end as we can. I don't want to put too much pressure on it. There we go. All right. Let's get that down, get that down. And there we have it. There's our controls. Our cockpit is basically done. Now comes the exciting part where we're going to attach this part of the ship to the main part of the ship, which is going to show just how big this thing is. Oh no, you said Silas is feral. He loves the place you're staying. Your rich doctor friend's guest suite. Love that for y'all. But Silas never wants to leave, but you can't parent him without baby gapes. Yeah. Well, if anything, it should make parenting a lot easier going back home. Unfortunately for Silas, though. It's not going to be as fun. Okay, so here's our giant back portion of the Mantis. We're going to get this all connected nicely. I have never connected this before. This is the first time I'm doing it here on camera. Let me try to get the wing out of my face. So yeah, this is the full interior of the Mantis. I literally can't get it all in camera because it's so gigantic. But let's go ahead and get everything together, and then we're going to start working on the roof of the ship. I do not know why this is not nicely snapping together. Okay, there we go. Let's get these pieces on here to keep it together, and then we'll get working on the actual exterior. I do not know why that's not lining up nicely. And thanks for bearing with me, y'all. Because, like I said, I know this angle is not the best angle. Somehow this goes in here. Oh, you know what? See, I'm already fucking it up. Let me take this off. All right, maybe we're not going to take it off right now. I'm just going to attempt to get this through. Okay. You do see the terrarium. Yeah, it's a little bit right in there. See, I could fold the wings down, but that's going to make it even harder to try and get this all together, and it definitely won't fit on my desk. So, oh shit. Well, we might just have to skip putting this together nicely for now and just start working on the roof, because I can see me working on this for a minute. I don't want to break anything. So I'm going to put this down on the ground for now, and then we'll get started on the roof. But yeah, this thing is huge, and I'm obsessed. Okay, it's now crash landed in Dredger Gorge, just like in the beginning of Jedi Survivor. And of course, I will be posting pictures later this week of the build, so y'all will still get to see it all together. But, like I said, I don't want to take a bunch of time trying to just get the pieces to line up properly. So we're going to get started on the roof. And then after the roof, there's just a little other section that we have to build. That's like the side engine of the ship, but that's it. I don't imagine we're going to finish this roof tonight, but at least when it gets started. M said, although I also hate the terrarium because she got stuck trying to get the bleeding gut seed. She kept falling at the village wall run, which is the only way out, and gave up on the trophy gathering playthrough. Yeah, some of the terrarium seeds, they're not the easiest to find, but I guess that's the point of it. I will say I prefer the terrarium over the garden in Jedi Survivor. While I like the idea of the garden and execution, I don't think it's as aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. And that was kind of a bummer. I love Peely. She's great. That's the character that Cal meets on Jeddah that comes and tends to the garden. So shout out to Peely. Is this the one? There we go. But yeah, let me know which you prefer. If you like the garden or the terrarium better in the chat. Yeah, it probably would look nicer in full bloom. I just feel like there's weird like color blocking of the plants. They were all very abstract colors. It was almost, honestly, it was almost too much for me to try to make an aesthetically pleasing garden. But that's just my opinion. Exactly, yeah, I tried to make a pretty one, and spoiler alert, it was not pretty. So I kind of just gave up on the garden altogether. I love the little skylights that are included in this. Obviously, if you look at this one, you can kind of tell it's probably going to be the one that's above like the galley area. And that was one of my favorite things to find out about the game, is that if you look through any of the viewports while the ship's going into hyperspace, you can see through the different windows around the ship. But it's not something you're going to notice right away. Unless you just conveniently are looking up or hit your camera the wrong direction on accident. It's funny too, because with this portion of the build with the roof, like it's got these like big regular sized Legos, but this roof is massive. As you're gonna find out shortly. Yeah, little details like that. That's the reason that I got this mock. I kind of touched on it earlier, but the person who designed it, 2Bricks, the amount of detail that was in it, that's what I was really looking for, because I never purchased a mock, I never built a mock, but I really wanted a Lego Stinger Mantis, because I love the Star Wars Jedi games, and it's a ship that I really like the design of. So I was like, if I'm going to get a mock, it needs to be super detailed, super accurate, and that's how I landed on this one. The link's in the description too if you're interested in checking out more of the details. And I want to say that 2Bricks has a video on their YouTube channel kind of giving you a tour. Oh wow, I just took this piece off and I need to put it right back on. Looking over our poll, looks like we got some more votes in here. We've got a 43% excited. We've got 29% no, not really. And then we've got a tie for 14% of cautiously optimistic and don't care. It's going to be a very interesting movie release, that's for sure. Let's see. I try to... Because this is a mock, I have to split up the pieces myself. They don't come in fancy little bags, so any of the bags you've seen me pulling pieces out of, I put them there. But sometimes I feel like there's just a lot of pieces and there's no easy way to organize them. So I shout out to Lego. I'm sure they have machines that do it, but you know. M said I'm not super pumped. I might see it twice if there are Anzellans. Well, there are Anzellans. They've been in the trailers, so. And I know that you had some words for me when I said I wasn't excited about the Babu Frick figure that came in the Star Wars Advent Calendar for 2025. So I think you're going to get a lot of what you are looking for. It seems like they're going to have I don't, probably not like a pivotal role in the Mandalorian and Grogu, but I think we're going to see a lot of them. Of course, I fuck it up already. I would, if I was going to give you the Babu Frick minifigure that I got from the calendar, I would not make you pay for it. I would somehow secretly find your address from one of our mutuals and send it to you without telling you. That way when it showed up, you didn't have a way to pay me. Because it would be a gift. Maybe I'll take you up on that. Because yeah, spoiler alert, all of my advent calendar figures are just collecting dust on the shelf. If I move my head... Oh no, you can't see them. I lied. You can see them in an actual video, but when we're in this Lego screen, they are hidden. They're in just a big pile on top of the shelf in a very not aesthetically pleasing way. Okay, I need one of these that's shaped or facing the other direction. I have no idea where it's at. There we go. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't make you pay for it. Plus, you come from the great country that gave us heated rivalry, so... anything for Canada at this point. Okay, let's try not to fuck this up. And that's something. I have not talked to you about Heated Rivalry. Did you watch? What did you think of the series? Are you into it? I'm almost finished with Heated Rivalry, the book. You stan it? Okay. I don't know how we've never talked about it before because I'm obsessed. I have all 6 books. I've got the new one already pre-ordered. I read Game Changer. I'm about to finish Heated Rivalry, and then I'm going to start on, what is the next one? Tough Guy. So I'm very excited. I'm kind of doing what I'm joking. I'm calling it a fake book club. Some of my coworkers, we all got once everybody in the little group finished watching the series, we all went out to dinner to like talk about it. And then I was like, I'm buying the books. Y'all should buy the books. And then we can all read them together. So we're doing like I said, a fake book club. It's not a real book club because we're just reading at our own pace. And then we're going to meet up and probably have margaritas and talk about it. But it's really nice to have people to talk about something that I am a huge fan of, IRL. I'm so used to, like, having Star Wars stuff. And honestly, thank you. This is going to sound insane. Thank you, Disney, for scaling back so I have time to watch other media I'm interested in that's coming out while there's been a Star Wars drought. Because if there was shows coming out Star Wars wise, I wouldn't have time to watch Heated Rivalry. I wouldn't have time to read the books. I wouldn't have time to watch A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Which I can't remember if I talked about that last stream. But I'm watching A Knight of Seven Kingdoms. I wasn't really loving it. I thought it was kind of boring. There wasn't really anything that grabbed me. But this most recent episode really ramped up, and I'm definitely a lot more interested now than I was. However, I think it's only 6 episodes long, so it's going to end pretty quickly, which is unfortunate because, like I said, it just started ramping up. But yeah, it's been nice to... Don't get me wrong, I'm missing Star Wars. I'm so excited for Maul Shadowlord, and I hate that we have to wait till April for it, and then it's going to be over in 5 weeks. But that's what I'm most excited for. You binged all episodes of Heated Rivalry in one night. Yeah, I watched it by myself. I started on the week that episode 3 came out. So I started midweek. I watched episodes 1 and 2. And then I watched 3 and 4. And then I was telling my best friend about the series, so she came over and I rewatched them with her. So I've essentially watched it twice so far, and I plan on watching it again once I finish the book. See, we're starting to get somewhere with the top of the ship too. Alright, let me grab all the pieces that I need so I don't miss anything, because y'all know I'm a pro at that. So I need 2 of these little tiny squares. And we need a bunch of little slanted pieces. Okay, so then we need 2 that are going in the other direction. And see, this is why when I make the posts about the streams, I'm like, come talk about Star Wars or whatever you're obsessed with right now. Because Star Wars is not my current obsession, it's Heated Rivalry. Yes, it's a show that rewards you for paying attention and watching without your phone. And that's the thing, I've talked about this in previous streams, but I really was like, ooh, I really want to talk about Heated Rivalry online. Like, what kind of content could I make about it? And then I was like, you know what? It's nice to be able to watch this show and just enjoy it. Not have to worry about breaking everything down. And don't get me wrong, I love breaking down my Star Wars, but it's just nice to not have that pressure. I'm sure anybody that is a creator can relate to that. I know I've seen Joe Organa specifically. I was telling him, I was like, I love that you're doing these podcasts about Heated Rivalry. And I was like, you're really in your content creator era. And I love that for him. And I've got a bunch of them saved. I need to go back and watch. Or listen. Yeah, like I said, don't get me wrong. Because it's no surprise to anyone, at least I don't think it is, that I do not make money off of this channel. So the breakdowns and stuff that I do, it's because I want to. Because I could easily just not, and I wouldn't be losing out on anything other than community, obviously. But yeah, it's still nice to be able to watch stuff and not have the pressure of having to break it down and figure out the hidden meanings and every little Easter egg, and I'm not even the best at that for Star Wars. There are other people that I watch specifically when it comes to the things that you might miss. Alright, I don't know where this other square flat piece is, so we're just going to skip that for now, I think, and when it turns up, I'll put it on. Thank you, Em. Yeah, definitely DM me the link because I want to check it out. Something else that, going back to the Super Bowl and Bad Bunny's halftime performance, I was talking with one of my friends, one of my coworkers, and she's Puerto Rican. She loves Bad Bunny. She was very excited about the Super Bowl and his performance, understandably. And she called me afterwards and was kind of explaining the different, I don't want to call them Easter eggs, but the different references to like Puerto Rican culture and just all the like hidden things that I, as a white person or just a non-Puerto Rican person, would not recognize that he put into that performance. And I was like, you know what? I'm sure someone's done a YouTube breakdown on this. I want the in-depth breakdown because it was a beautiful cultural moment. It was really inspiring. I really enjoyed it, but obviously there was stuff that I wouldn't get because I just don't know. It's not my culture. But I'm like, I want to look stuff up because I want to know. Because I know there was a lot of cool stuff that he put in there. And I've seen some of it online, but like, you know, I want someone who knows the culture to put it out, not just like a hit magazine being like, here's 10 things you missed in Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show performance. Or a fucking TikTok. Which, by the way, I deleted my TikTok. So if you've been looking for it, it does not exist anymore. If you like my short content, you can find it on my YouTube and my Instagram. Y'all know it was not hard for me to delete TikTok because I already hated it. Honestly, the only reason I had a TikTok was because of content creating. If there was one thing that I don't love doing, it's shorts. I just like a long video. I'm a size queen when it comes to my video content. Okay, can't find another piece, so hopefully it'll turn up at some point. So we'll just put that down for now. Alright, we need this. It's gonna go there. You call it TikTok because your super old man yells at clouds about it? Yeah. Honestly, probably same. I remember during the height of like COVID and the shutdowns when TikTok was kind of the big thing to do to connect with people because we couldn't go anywhere. I was like, I don't want to do stupid little dances on my phone because at the beginning that's a lot of what it was. And I guess I've been a hater ever since. And especially now with the changes that are being made to it, the way they're changing the algorithm, the censorship, it's definitely not for me. Okay, hold on. Shit. Oh, okay. I see the issue here. There is no piece there because I can't find that piece. So now I have to attempt to find it to complete this. I need another slanty piece to go here. I was just so worried about sneezing into the microphone that I made my sneeze go away. That was bizarre. I know I just probably made some gorgeous faces though. Okay, there's that. And you know what? TikTok's ruining the music industry. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with the music industry, but all these record labels and everyone just worried about trying to have a TikTok trend or to have their song go viral on TikTok. I hate that. Like, that's not what making music is about. See, we're getting somewhere. This almost looks like, what is it, an A-Wing or a snow speeder? One of the two. It's kind of giving that vibe right now. You built the Millennium Falcon in the $5 bag? The minimum Falcon? That's hilarious. Do those come with minifigures? I cannot recall. We actually went for, what was it? I think it was, we did a family Lego building activity. It might have been for Christmas one year, and we got my stepdad this tiny, it was the tiny little $5 Millennium Falcon bag as a joke, and then presented him with his real giant set, but his reaction was priceless. They don't come with minifigures? I guess that makes sense, because, you know, Lego's charging an arm and a leg. Lego's charging an arm and a leg for stuff these days in their damn smart bricks. Yeah, I'm not going to be building. Unless Lego sends me a complimentary smart brick Lego set, I will not be building them. I do not think they're going to send me one. So. Oh, minifigures come in their own bag. Interesting. Right, this is going to go here. Like so. See, we've got some shape going on here. We like that. Now the cool thing about the top of this ship is that it's fully removable. So it comes off in one piece, and I kind of mentioned a little bit of that when I was putting together some of the pieces to finish off the main part of the ship. But this whole thing is built to go on and off, so that way you can easily take the top off if you want to. And like I said, it is very large. Yeah, it's really a quality mock. And this is actually the second version of it that they did. There is a older version that they had put out. And I know one of the things that they had said was with the newer version, this one that I'm building, is that one of the things they wanted to do was make sure it was more sleek, less with less studs and stuff showing. So it really captured the feel of the ship. And I think that they definitely achieved that, which you'll be able to see either, well, probably next stream, depending on how far we get tonight. I'm really interested to see what other Lego sets that we're going to get in the near future. I know from the stuff that I've been seeing online, there's not anything I'm super interested in, and I don't know how intense the smart brick push is going to be. So hopefully we'll be getting some sets in the near future that I am interested in, so we can do more Lego streams. I love these Lego streams. I was just talking to someone earlier today, and I was just saying that Lego is so relaxing, unless you can't find the piece that you're looking for, or you're putting together really small pieces that are a pain in the ass. Other than that, super relaxing. I really don't know where the piece is that goes here. Hopefully I find it. I'm sure I will, but I don't know if we're going to find it on this stream, because I really don't see it. If y'all see it in the pile, let me know. But I'm not seeing it anywhere. But yeah, as you can see, as I'm getting these on here, we're starting to cover up some of the studs. It's getting that more sleek look with all these smooth pieces. So it's really coming together. Now, one thing I will say with the fact that you can take this roof on and off of the ship, some of the integrity of the underneath the build and some of the building techniques are kind of weird. And you'll see as we get further into the build. It also borrows some of the building techniques of the other Star Wars ships, specifically like the Venator that I have behind me, and I'm sure other ones as well, where it's got these kind of, I don't even know what to call them, just like textural components to it that you kind of have to build up with different little shapes and whatnot. And that's something really unique that I would not be able to think of. It's just crazy what people can do with Lego, especially compared to the original Lego Star Wars and just original Legos in general. Now I'm looking, oh, here we go. Here's this one. Oh geez, not me closing on my instructions. Like for example, this part here, you see there's the one little stud that we're going to put something on. And what we're going to put there is a pair of Lego binoculars. Why, I do not know. Maybe it's supposed to be like a little gun or something. Or maybe I can't even get it to fit on. Oh, I had it upside down. So yeah, that goes there, random. Do I have a white whale Star Wars Lego set? I have no idea what you're talking about, Em. When you say white whale, the only thing I think of is a Purrgil. I'm trying to think of something that is a white Lego set. Drawing a blank. Okay, so I guess I'm confused what you mean by a white whale Star Wars Lego set. Please explain. Because you mentioned the Last Jedi throne room and the full-size Fortress Vader, but I'm not understanding why it's called a white whale set. Unless you mean because it's like a place versus like a vehicle. Oh, something you really want that's difficult to find. Do I have one? If you're talking about the Fortress Vader Lego set, and it's a play set if I'm not mistaken, I do have that one. I actually got it on Amazon because it was still randomly in stock. I want to say it was last year. So I do have that one. It's on my shelf. You can't see it in this, but it's a really cool build. And I was like, you know what? I want to get my hands on that. And when I saw it was in stock, I said, guess I'm getting it now. So I do have that one. And then I'm trying to think if there's something that I don't have that I really want that's hard to come by. I feel like an easier thing to think of would be like minifigures that I would want. But even then, nothing comes to mind off the top of my head. So I'm sorry to disappoint you that I don't have an answer to the question. But I'm sure I can think of something. There's a lot of the old Clone Wars sets that were coming out when the movie was coming out and when the show was originally airing that I would love to have. even though the minifigures are hideous. Oh, there's that piece I was looking for. Even though the Clone Wars era minifigures are hideous, but I would like to have some of those. You know what? There's a set that is... It's just like the speeder that Ventress drives into the Night Brother village that she eventually takes Savage back on when he like proves himself as her champion. And it's just like that speeder, her, Savage, and there might be another Night Brother or something that comes with it. I'd love that set simply because of Ventress. I would like to get the different Ventress minifigures, but once again, they're hard to come by. I have looked on... What is it? Is it Rebrickable where people sell them at? I think it's Rebrickable. I could be wrong. It might be Bricklink. I always confuse the two. But... Oh, you know what? These... I don't think these go here. I think these are supposed to be the ugly ones. Not the shiny ones. No, these are the shiny ones. Am I missing a shiny one? Oh, there it is. I didn't even know there was a Last Jedi throne room scene Lego set. But that's like the thing is that I played with Lego as a kid. It was like me and my stepdad's biggest bonding activity was probably playing Legos. And I stopped playing Legos when I stopped playing with toys, which honestly was probably earlier than I really needed to because I was like, I'm a teenager now. Maybe even before that, but I was like, I'm old now. I only watch reality TV and I don't play with toys, which in hindsight was so stupid, but like that's child mindset, especially when you're in like you're getting into your teenage years. But so I didn't pay attention to anything Lego related probably until I got back into the Star Wars fandom, which would have been like COVID era or 2021 maybe. Well, I guess that's still 2020, 2021. So I wasn't even paying attention to the Lego sets that had come out or that were coming out at that time. So I'm sure there's a ton that I would love to have and probably would have had I paid attention. I think the first Lego set that I bought as like an adult, and probably the first Lego set I bought in general, because I didn't buy the ones when I was a kid, probably the BD1, the UCS BD1. And it's a crime that that's our only Star Wars Lego any set related to Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order. Of course, we have the Cal Kestis minifigure that came with the Star Destroyer playset as a part of, was it the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary or just Lego Star Wars 25th anniversary? Something like that. I did get the Star Destroyer just for the Cal Kestis minifigure. I'm not gonna lie, no shame. So had I been into Lego Star Wars or just been into the online fandom before I got into it, I probably would have a lot of sets that I just got for specific figures. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I really didn't collect things at all until I got back into the fandom as an adult. Like, I didn't collect any non-Star Wars things, and I didn't collect Star Wars things. I mean, I had Star Wars action figures when I was growing up. I have a ton of the Attack of the Clones figures still. They're in a box, not in a box, they're in a Tupperware container in my closet. I'm hoping to get my giant container of Legos from when I was a kid from my parents' attic, because I had a ton of the early Lego Star Wars sets, all like the Phantom Menace ones and whatnot, and I'd love to attempt to see what pieces I still have and what I can put together. Honestly, yeah, stocking Bricklink for minifigures that you want. I think it was actually Star Wars Sublight who introduced me into the world of buying Legos off of Bricklink. And specifically, it was because when I got the Venator, I was like, it'd be really cool to have, you know, Siege of Mandalore Ahsoka to go with the Venator. Like, no shame to Mace Windu, but when I think of Venators and I think of iconic Star Wars things that happen on a Venator, I think of Ahsoka and the Clone Wars Season 7 in Order 66. So, Sublight was like, oh, you could get this set, and that would give you the Ahsoka that you're looking for. And it's the Throne Room Lego set of Ahsoka, Maul, and just like the Mandalorian throne. And so I bought it, and so now I have a Siege of Mandalore Ahsoka to go with my Venator, and you can actually see her. She's right there. She's right up there. And I've got a 332nd clone with her. And that's only because in the middle I have Anakin and Rex, and then I have Obi-Wan with what is his, the 221st? They're the yellow ones. I don't know if it's supposed to be a Cody figure, but it's the yellow clone that came with Mace Windu that came with the Venator. And I was like, in my head it's Cody, and so he's going with Obi-Wan. But I also have a Maul, and I'm kind of considering making Maul one of my people I collect things from. Because those pop figures that came out for Shadow Lord, and I already have a Maul with the Darksaber pop figure. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I should start collecting Maul stuff. But that's a dangerous and slippery slope. Alright, now we're going to do one of those things that I was talking about where we're going to build these weird component parts that go on the ship that are just these little details that make it look so much more realistic. Or not even more realistic, but just makes it look more detailed. So we're just going to build these little panels that have these little components on them. Are there any specific minifigures, M, that you specifically want to eventually have one day? Or were they minifigures that came with the Last Jedi Throne Room set and the Castle Vader set? Oh, see, I already fucked it up. What am I missing? I always forget I can use the brick separator, and I start trying to peel shit apart and it doesn't work nicely. And then I'm like, oh wait, there's an easier way. Alright, so that's gonna go there. This is gonna go here. And see, we're just building like these little components that are just look nice and detailed on the actual ship. Alright, where's my shiny little vent pieces? That's not a shiny one. That's not a shiny one. Did I use the shiny ones already? I did. These are definitely where the shiny ones are supposed to go. Let's take that off. And this is the thing that I hate, is that it's so hard to tell the shiny ones apart from the regular ones, at least in the booklet that I have. In person, it's a lot easier, but when I'm looking at these instructions, I'm like, I cannot tell. And like I said, it's a mock, so even the instructions on the mock are going to look a bit different because they're not official LEGO instructions, even though they are made to look like them. Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised that there wasn't a Knights of Ren LEGO set with all of the knights. Didn't they do, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, didn't they do the Knights of Ren ship? LEGO's been really stingy when it comes to minifigures lately, though, because I mean, just look at the $1,000 Death Star and the fact that you don't even have enough minifigures to do multiple scenes. You have to move figures around from different scenes. Like, they could have added more stormtroopers, at least. You said you bought mocks from Alibaba or something like that, and they were actually screen accurate. Nice. Okay, what did I do wrong? This piece is too long. Is this piece too long, or am I just looking at it wrong? Maybe this piece is not long enough. Okay, so this one's too long. There we go. I need this one. So let's fix that. They did the night buzzard, but it only came with Karuk and Cardo. Well, that's lame. But hey, I guess if anything, it's more Knights of Ren than we got in the movies, so... You're a nerd for Knights of Ren? That fits. That does not surprise me. Did you read any of the Knights of Ren comics, or specifically like the Kylo Ren comics? What is the current one that's out right now? Legacy of Vader? I'm not huge into the comics, but I do pay attention to people who cover them. And speaking of, I do plan on reading Shadow of Maul, the Maul comic that's going to be coming out and tying into the show. Okay. Oh, I see. This is going to go here. So see, here's this cool middle piece that's got all these different textures on it that's just going to look nice on top of the ship. We've got another clear glass piece here, which is probably for a window. You're buying the trades as they come out. Smart. Those are like the actual book that's compiled of all of the comic issues, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was never huge into comics as a kid or as an adult, so it's kind of a new thing. I read the Star Wars Inquisitor comic series and was not a huge fan. So I'm kind of jaded when it comes to comics because they're not as long. I feel like as soon as it gets good, the comic is over. So I think this can't be the full length of it. Oh no, because we've got to put the yellow on there too. So there's still more to come. Let me see. Am I going to make 2 of these? Yep. No, we need, I guess we need this one, this giant one here. It's interesting with the Shadow of Maul series too that hypothetically, it's probably going to still be coming out as the show is airing. I don't know. I have weird thoughts about Maul's Shadow Lord's release schedule. Because, like, part of me feels like this was not the original way the show was supposed to be released, or they pushed the dates back. I don't know. It's just very odd that we're getting 5 weeks of it and it's ending on May the 4th. But that's just my opinion. So the writing can be uneven in comics, but it does have some great writing. Yeah, definitely. I guess it just comes down to pacing. Which, yeah, some people are going to be better at than others. I don't know if I've ever read anything by Justina Ireland. Not because I'm like, fuck Justina Ireland, but I just don't think that they've written anything that I have actively been looking for. I'm sure there's something that they've written that I would like a lot. Didn't Justina Ireland do, weren't they one of the main authors with the High Republic Publishing Initiative? Oh. You see how we're putting this together and it kind of looks weird on the bottom? Oh, she wrote Pink Milk into canon. Okay, and now it's literally at Batuu. How does that make you feel? As soon as I saw that announcement, I actually texted Brian about it. I was like, oh my god, did you see what's coming to Batuu? Like, it was already cool getting Pink Milk into canon, but then now it's literally going to be at the park. And I think it's going to be, this is not the joke I was trying to make this. I wasn't even trying to make a joke. But I think the Pink Milk at Batuu is going to be very fruity, if I recall from what they said the flavor will be like. But honestly, that's fitting. I wouldn't expect anything less. He said, it feels incredible, tiny little Canadian me leaving a thumbprint in one of the biggest franchises of all time. I know, and it's so well deserved. And I love that for you and the rest of the Pink Milk crew. It's so cool how different authors are able to add in little things from the real world fandom into Star Wars things. Like how they've now... What was the one that was similar to Star Wars Explained? It was like something explained and they were like a hollow podcast or something in actual Star Wars. It's just like little things like that. It's so much fun, and I imagine it's very rewarding to the people that they are meant for or who they're paralleling in the Star Wars universe. I agree with that, Brian. He said there should be a Pink Milk reunion during celebration at the Pink Milk Cart in Galaxy's Edge. I agree. Alright, see, look at this. This is just such an odd piece to get in here, but it fits nicely. And it keeps everything together. But it's just so random how they build this out. Yeah, disband ICE and you'll be there. If only. I'm like, so much can happen in, how far away is Celebration at this point? A little over a year from now. So much can happen in a year, and I hope that whatever does happen is a positive thing, because there's just way too much negative right now. I need bad things to start happening to bad people. And I need good things to start happening to good people. I always think of, funny enough, I always think of Rose Tico and her line in The Last Jedi with, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think I have it right, but it's not about, oh shit, I just had it in my head. It's not about fighting what we hate, it's about saving what we love. Pretty sure that's the line. And that's what I always think about, especially in times like this. Okay, there's that. Oop. All right, we're actually almost there. Good old Rose. Underappreciated character? Yeah, way underappreciated. And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first yellow that I've put on the ship, but you know, if you know the Mantis, you know that an iconic part of its color scheme is the hints of yellow. And honestly, I don't even care for the color yellow personally. But it's exciting getting it onto the ship. It's the pops of orange on the inside and the pops of yellow on the outside that really bring the ship to life, in my opinion. Alright, so this is going to go on this side. Look at that. It's getting there. Now we're going to build one for the other side. Oh, and come to think of it, does anybody have any plans for Valentine's Day, since that's coming up this weekend? Funny enough, I am going to get dinner with one of my coworkers. It's not a romantic thing. But her and I just happened to plan dinner for Saturday, and I was like, oh, you know, it's Valentine's Day. I was like, you're not doing anything with your partner? And she was like, no, he has duty. Her partner's the Navy. So I guess he has duty and he has to start on Friday. So she was like, I ain't got nothing going on for Valentine's Day. I said, all right, well then we'll get a margarita. So my coworker and I are getting margaritas, and it just so happens to be Valentine's Day. Yeah, let me know if y'all are doing anything in the chat. Okay, this is a little funky because there's nothing holding this here. I imagine we're about to build that, but Brian said I'm working overtime, but we might go out to dinner on Friday. Yeah, I hope that you and your partner are able to spend some time together, especially one-on-one. Said nothing, nope, nothing planned, maybe just to snuggle with my princess. Hey, that works too. Maybe y'all can watch a little movie or something. Or just enjoy your time together. At the end of the day, I feel like that's what love is really about. Alright, this is gonna go here. I'm just gonna keep this propped up here because I'm about to do another one on the other side. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to make sure I'm putting the actual build in the camera. M said, okay, friends, it's my bedtime, and I'm so glad I stayed to see the yellow. Yeah, I'm so glad you popped in too. I feel like we haven't hung out in forever. I know you've had a lot going on, especially with your house and whatnot. So I'm really happy that you had time to pop in today. Good night, Em. Oh, God. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's a great build, and once it's together, it's great. But it's a little janky before you've got everything in place. So you just have to be, careful. Oh, there's the one that I dropped. All right, let me actually hold the bottom of this so I can... Okay, well, you know what? We're going to do this. I think this will make it easier. We're going to put these pieces where they go, and then we'll snap it into place. Like so. Let's see if I can get this one on. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Okay. It looks like we're going to start building the turrets here. And for the sake of time, since I'm definitely not going to finish the turrets, I think we're going to call it. That way, next stream we can finish up the roof, we can work on the side engine, and then put it all together, and that'll be the Mantis. So, yeah, for now, we're going to go ahead and call it here. I don't want to get too ahead, or I don't want to get too past time. So, and I want to make sure we have something to build next stream. So next stream is probably going to be the last one. If you guys have been enjoying these streams, make sure that you like and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on this or any of my Star Wars content. Thank you all so much for supporting me and my channel and hanging out tonight. Happy Valentine's Day, and may the Force be with you always. See you next Tuesday.